Office of the Public Independent Conciliator for the Southwest region has brought together representatives amongst market men and women, council workers and taxi drivers over the same agenda, aimed at better collaboration for better Boya. Economic operators were not left out. President Felix Tshisekedi of the Democratic Republic of Congo has announced plans for a national dialogue, thereby raising hopes for a peaceful resolution to the country's political tension. This decision has prompted the main opposition coalition to call off a planned nationwide protest. The president of the Confederation of African Football, CAF, Dr. Patrice Motsepe, has announced that AFCON will witness a 28-team format instead of 24 as next year's edition comes up. While speaking recently in Johannesburg, he reiterated the move will not only boost the competition, but strengthen and widen the participation of more teams. Good evening, Honori Cheng, welcoming you for the news hour on Royal Television. We are in Boya, southwest region of the country, and we are the new vision of Africa. For better collaboration, the Office of the Public Independent Conciliator here in the southwest region has brought together market men and women, has also joined council workers plus taxi drivers and economic operators over the same table to talk collaboration. This initiative took place recently. As Frida Lena, you get to tell us.
In Boya recently, the voices of the market were heard in the council hall. Traders, taxi drivers, bike riders, tellers and other economic operators met with the Office of the Public Independent Conciliator for the Southwest. The goal, less conflict, more collaboration. The seminar held under the theme Office of the Public Independent Conciliator, fostering collaborative governance between the council and economic operators of the Boya municipality. The event brought together the people who keep Boya's economy moving. The gathering was chaired by the Public Independent Conciliator for the Southwest, Dorothy Motaze.
The main mandate, as always, is to ensure that there is improvement in quality services delivery. Quite often, we have not met council.
The day was built around two key models. First, understanding the missions of OPIC, and second, the functions of the market masters and the transport service and the rights and obligations of economic operators towards the council. The sessions were presented by Vefonge Victoria Enanga and the research officer Ekema Brown Miende, respectively. For many here, it was a chance to ask the questions they have been holding in. Concerns did not stop there. Parking in Boya and what some called harassment by municipal police authorities also came up.
As we were there, you quite understood their questions and their worry, like operations in the field vis-a-vis their own actions. Our operations like control of park fee and whatsoever, their worries. We are very open to receiving their worries, and we stand as an institution to help them, educate them, and work convivially with them.
Officials from the Office of the Public Independent Conciliator of the Southwest and the council listened, and they answered point by point. From market sanitation to transport regulations, the message was clear: know your rights, but also know your obligations. The seminar was more than talk. It was a bridge between the council and the people who pay taxes, who sell in the markets, who drive Boya's transport.
One of the peculiar issues raised today was the concerns of roadside vendors, which I make clearly that ever since our appointments down there in the market, we had planted some iron poles and ropes, that is to limit traders selling right to the shoulders of the road. This was as a result of the accident which happened on the 17th of July, the year 2024, where two lives were lost. But we cannot limit ourselves. We are going to push harder to make sure that the order that the mayor and the administrative authorities have passed will be respected to the letter.
In the days ahead, the hope is simple that OPIC and the economic sector of Boya will work hand in glove, because when governance is collaborative, Boya wins.
Away from that, let's now talk education. 10,300. These are the number of examiners that are in Boya actually for the marking exercise of the General Certificate of Examinations GCE, counting for the 2025-2026 academic year. Speaking to them recently in the city of Boya, the governor of the Southwest region, Bernard Okalia Bilai, cautioned the teachers to be more diligent. In the following report, Sonita Ngoni Satru and breaks to us the details.
After 2 months of writing, the marking exercise of the 2025-2026 General Certificate Examination GCE has officially begun today in Boya, with over 10,300 examiners drawn from the 10 regions of the country present in Boya yesterday to commence the marking exercise. Held a meeting chaired by the governor of the Southwest region, Bernard Okalia Bilai. He laid emphasis on the importance of carrying out the exercise with diligence, considering the nature of the work.
That they should carry the exercise in all objectivity. They should be committed to the task, because it's a very delicate task. Our children are the Cameroon of tomorrow, for the entire nation and for the families, for the community. So if we don't accompany them, we don't help them to prepare well through the certification and all what we know, thanks to those marking exercise, we jeopardize the future and compromise our own security.
Marking exercise is taking place in schools like BGHS Moliko, PCSS, Baptist High School, among others, and will run for close to 2 weeks.
A special road safety campaign is ongoing in the Sanaga Maritime Division, especially in the city of Edeya. It has been organized by the Ministry of Transport to better help curb, or why not reduce, the number of road accidents all over the national territory. Amongst others, they also seek to promote responsible driving and also protect travelers who are using this busy holiday period to take on the road. Natalie Njuma up next.
Speeding, reckless driving, overloading and disregard for traffic regulations are among the leading causes of road accidents, especially during the holiday season. As part of the nationwide initiative by the Ministry of Transport, the Divisional Delegate for Transport for the Senegal Maritime Division, Esther Ngongwas, visited the main passenger boarding points in Edeya to officially launch the campaign for Operation Target Transport Agencies, commercial drivers and passengers alike. Inspection teams took turns at major points in Edeya to check vehicle documents, verify the roadworthiness of the vehicles, and ensuring that transport operators comply with safety regulations. Beyond inspections, transport officials have sensitized road users through awareness sessions, reminding drivers that respecting speed limit, avoiding overloading, and obeying traffic laws can save lives. The campaign comes at a critical period when thousands of persons travel to reunite with their families for the holidays. Statistics have revealed that an increase in road crashes during this season is largely due to excessive speeding, dangerous overtaking, driver fatigue, and non-compliance with traffic regulations. While welcoming the initiative, managers of local travel agencies in the area also raised concerns about the challenges facing the transport sector, including pressure from increased passenger demand and the need for greater cooperation from road users. Situated along National Road Number 3, one of Cameroon's busiest highway, Edea records a high volume of traffic every holiday season, making road safety a shared responsibility. The Special Road Safety Campaign is expected to run until September 30th, 2026, with authorities urging every driver and passenger to play their part in preventing avoidable tragedies.
Away from that, we take you out of the country, where President Felix Tshisekedi has announced plans for a nationwide dialogue, thereby raising hopes for a peaceful resolution to the country's political tension. This has prompted the coalition opposition party to call off a strike action or protest that they intended to carry out. Nanga Sonia with the foreign package.
The coalition, Article 64, an alliance of opposition parties, has postponed the protest march that was scheduled to take place in Kinshasa and other parts of the country on July 22. The demonstration was intended to oppose constitutional reforms that critics say could pave the way for President Felix Tshisekedi to extend his stay in office beyond the current constitutional limits. The opposition says it has decided to suspend the protest after President Tshisekedi announced that a national dialogue would soon be convened to address the country's political and governance challenges. Church leaders from the Catholic and Protestant communities who have been invited to facilitate the dialogue also appealed to the opposition to give negotiations a chance. Following internal constitutions, the C64 agreed to postpone the march in what is described as a gesture of goodwill. However, the coalition stressed that its decision does not signal an end to its demands. Opposition leaders have given the government until August 15 to officially convene the promised national dialogue, warning that they could resume nationwide protests if there is no meaningful progress. The move marks a temporary easing of political tensions in the DRC, where disagreements over proposed constitutional changes have sparked protests and deepened divisions between the government and opposition in recent months. Observers say the success of the planned dialogue will be crucial in determining whether the country can avoid further political unrest.
We now talk sports, as Cameroon is set to host the best women's club from Central Africa, as Yaoundé will be hosting the 2026 CAF Women's Champions League UNIFAC zonal qualifiers from August 22nd right up to August 30th, with the country's champion Leke Football Fee enjoying home advantage. The tournament presents a golden opportunity for Cameroon to end years of near misses and finally secure a place at Africa's biggest women's club qualifiers games. Kosona Claudia tells us more in this report.
Yaoundé is preparing to become the center of women's club football in Central Africa as the city gets ready to host the 2026 CAF Women's Champions League UNIFAC zonal qualifiers from August 22 to 30. The week-long competition will bring together champions from the UNIFAC zone, all battling for the region's lone qualification ticket to the CAF Women's Champions League. Representing Cameroon will be Leke Football Fee, the 2025 crowned Guinea Super League champions, backed by home support and led by reigning Cameroon's Women Ballon d'Or winner Lee Stewart Fresh. Leke will be looking to write a new chapter in the country's football history. Since the CAF Women's Champions League was introduced in 2021, following the inaugural zonal qualifiers in 2020, no Cameroonian club has managed to qualify for the competition's final tournament. Despite several promising campaigns, the country's representatives have always fallen short of reaching the continental stage. The most recent attempt came in 2025 when FC Bolova represented Cameroon at the UNIFAC qualifiers. The South region side, impressed throughout the tournament, reaching the final before narrowly missing out on qualification after losing to Equatorial Guinea's Kenze Augusto, who claimed the region's lone ticket to CAF Women's Champions League. Now, the responsibility shifts to Leke Football Fee, playing before their home supporters. The champions will be hoping to turn home advantage into history by becoming the first Cameroonian club to qualify for the group stage of the Africa's premier women's club competition. Beyond the race for continental qualification, hosting the tournament also highlights Cameroon's growing commitment to women's football and provides another opportunity to showcase the country's ability to organize major continental sporting events. As preparations gather pace, attention now turns to the official confirmation from UNIFAC and CAF regarding the participating clubs, competitions format, and match schedule in the coming weeks. For Leke Football Fee, however, the mission is already clear: make home advantage count, end Cameroon's long wait, and secure a historic place among Africa's elite women's clubs.
The Confederation of African Football (CAF) has officially approved the expansion of the African Cup of Nations AFCON from 24 to 28 teams as beginning from next year 2027. This was made public by the president of CAF, Dr. Patrice Motsepe, recently in the Johannesburg. He said this move aims at widening participation, strengthening the growth of African football, amongst others, boosting the competition, as Kosona Claudia Vuma tells us.
The Confederation of African Football has announced a major change to its flagship men's national team competition. Beginning with the 2027 Africa Cup of Nations, the tournament will feature 28 teams instead of current 24, marking another significant expansion in the history of African football. The announcement was made by CAF President Dr. Patrice Motsepe during a press briefing in Johannesburg. According to Motsepe, the expansion reflects CAF's commitment to giving more African countries the opportunity to compete at the highest level while increasing the tournament's competitiveness and commercial appeal. The 2027 edition, which will be jointly hosted by Kenya, Uganda and Tanzania, it is scheduled to run from June 19 to July 17, 2027. Under the new competition format, the 28 qualified nations will be divided into 7 groups of 4 teams. The top 2 teams from each group will qualify automatically for the knockout stage, while the 2 best third-place teams will complete the round of 16 lineup. This is the second expansion of the Africa Cup of Nations in less than a decade. The competition increased from 16 to 24 teams ahead of the 2019 tournament in Egypt, a move that allowed more emerging football nations to experience the continent's biggest stage. CAF believes the latest expansion will further promote football development across Africa by creating more qualification opportunities and exposing more players to elite international competitions. Preparations for the tournament are already underway, with infrastructure projects continuing across the 3 host countries. CAF has expressed confidence that Kenya, Uganda and Tanzania will successfully deliver a historic championship despite ongoing construction challenges. Qualifiers are expected to begin later this year. For football fans across the continent, the decision means more nations, more matches, and a bigger Africa Cup of Nations when East Africa hosts the tournament in 2027.
The Office of the Public Independent Conciliator for the Southwest region has brought together representatives amongst market men and women, council workers and taxi drivers over the same agenda, aimed at better collaboration for a better Boya. Economic operators were not left out. President Felix Tshisekedi of the Democratic Republic of Congo has announced plans for a national dialogue, thereby raising hopes for a peaceful resolution to the country's political tensions. This decision has prompted the main opposition coalition to call off a planned nationwide protest. The president of the Confederation of African Football (CAF), Dr. Patrice Motsepe, has announced that AFCON will witness a 28-team format instead of 24 as from next year's edition. While speaking recently in Johannesburg, South Africa, he reiterated the move will not only boost the competition, but strengthen and widen the participation of more teams. We have come to the end of this newscast. You have been watching News Hour on Royal Television. Honoring Cheng for presentation. I'm asking you to stay tuned to programs on Royal Television. I will be here tomorrow. It is another day. See you. Bye-bye. Peace out.